Hello, dear humans of the future. Well, of tomorrow, which is Friday. Thank you for joining today's class. As I told you, I'm sorry I can't be like explaining this live, but I'm not at home. So what I did was that I am recording the session. We're going to watch it here in class. Hopefully, I will be able to join with my data, and I will be available if you have any doubt or question. Today's class is going to be one of the last ones because this is our second to last class. Happy dancing, because we close next week, and that's going to be pretty much it. So vacations are coming ahead, and if I am excited, I guess you are even more excited. So let's get this over with. Today's class is going to concern need detection. We already know what a need is. Remember, we saw that in the first term. But today we're going to learn how this concept is related to entrepreneurship. So let's start. I want to recall everything that we have seen during the last 3 weeks. Remember, it's the three main types of entrepreneurships through very, very specific examples of entrepreneurs. We saw, for example, buying an existing business, which is, for instance, what Mark Zuckerberg did with Instagram. Then we have starting a new business. And as an example, we can have Steve Jobs with Apple. And in number 3, we have buying a franchise, which is what any normal person can do if they buy a McDonald's or a Sears or a Marshalls or a Domino's Pizza, like we saw last week. But we saw this through a very, very specific way of analyzing, which is through cases. Okay, we saw first the case of Chandra. Remember, her business was Waggy Tails. She had worked there as a dog walker, and then she decided to buy the business, and then she expanded with vans that serviced dogs, like not only grooming but care, all around the city. So that was her path to entrepreneurship, buying an existing business, giving it a twist, and making it grow even more. Then we have our second example, which is Ties. He started, remember, a software for himself. He used it, and then other people were like, oh, that is so cool. Could you sell it to me? And he did. And then he started growing and growing, and some friends joined, and they created a company, and they sold that company, and he created another one related to apps, and then he sold it again. So that was his personal journey towards entrepreneurship, starting his own business. And last but not least, we had the story of Ray, who owned several restaurant franchises, and this was his own personal path to having his own business. He did not start on his own. He did not buy one that already existed. He went to a company of a franchise and he said, look, I want to have my own. Let me buy the rights. And he opened his own franchise, and then he opened more and more and more. So in here, we have 3 totally different ways of having our own entrepreneurship, our own business. However, they all share at least one thing in common, which is going to be the core of today's lesson and also of the assignment that you need to hand in for next week. By the way, remember that we have a Google form due today on these 3 types of entrepreneurship. If you haven't, write a reminder right now and do it, because I don't want you missing those points, okay? So please remember to hand in that Google form due today. Okay, let's continue. The thing that all these businesses have in common, or at least the main thing that they have in common, is that all of them exist because people like you and people like me have basic wants and needs. Remember, we saw this in the first term. Needs are the things you require to live. like food, healthcare, shelter, right now, internet, because you need to study. And how do you study right now? Well, through the computer. Those are needs, things essential for your survival and development. We also have wants, which are things that you choose to buy but could live without. If you go to the supermarket, okay, I get that you need to buy vegetables and meat and eggs maybe, but you don't need to buy soda or chocolate, or you don't need to call in a delivery for pizza, for example. Everything that is like that, and entertainment, electronics, traveling, it's not necessary. You choose to spend your money on them, but you will not die if you don't have them, even though you might think that you will die. So those are wants, and that is the main difference between needs and wants. So every business that exists in this world, like for every product, for every good, for every service, it covers a very specific want or need within a set group of people. If a product or a service did not cover a need or a want, then people would not pay for it because they don't need it, nor they don't want it either. So it would be like, why would I give you my money if I don't need it? So everything, even though it might seem superficial or like very vain, everything in the market on this planet covers a specific want or need for a group of people. Your needs are not exactly the same as my needs, and they're not going to be teacher Robert's needs or teacher Alexandra's needs, because we're different people in a different age group too. So this is going to be very, very particular. Now, some real life examples. If we take El Plazas, for instance, what is the basic need that they cover? Food. They offer food for the general population. So you can go there and find what you need in order to make your meals and survive through food. However, if you take the example of Cinex, you don't need Cinex or movies. I could have used Netflix, for example, or video game consoles, PS4, PS5, Xbox. You don't need them in order to live. Those are entertainment, and entertainment is a want. So we can classify it as such. And then last but not least, we have communication. Depending on how you see it, it can be either a need or a want, but I have gotten here to the fundamentals. So I will consider it a need. And we have Movistar. It could be Digital, it could be CanTV, it could be Fastnet, I don't know. But right now we need communication because not only our globalized society, but our society in pandemic. So these are like real life examples of companies that offer products or services that supply very specific needs or wants, as you can see here. Then, what is like the explanation in the correct terms for all of this that we have been discussing? Whenever a need goes unsatisfied or unmet, do not get scared at the word, it's super easy. It means that there is like a blank space between what a customer desires and what they currently have. Imagine that I want to call my mom, but I live in the 1500s or in the age where Christopher Columbus came to America. There is no possible way in that specific time where I could contact my mom in such a short period of time. So there was a gap, a blank space between what I want and what is actually existing at that specific moment. And that is what an unsatisfied or unmet need means. I want something and I don't have it, and maybe it does not exist. So my need is unsatisfied or unmet. This can happen on a physical or psychological level. I could have the need for a better phone, and I currently don't have one, but I could also want to have better self-esteem or more confidence in myself. And that is also a need, or a psychological need. still a need, nevertheless. So if a need or want, see that it can work both ways for needs or wants, in a market is unmet, and there is a person or a company who is like, wow, okay, these people want this specific thing, but that specific thing is not available. Okay, let's work hard to create a product or a service that does meet that need or that want, so I can keep those clients that want this thing in their lives. So it's like they discover a treasure chest, and with their idea, they are able to attract all these customers that at the end of the day are going to give them their money in exchange for that product or service. And that is like the gold within the chest. Okay, so that is super important. Everything comes from a detected need or want. There is nothing in this world unless those things are discovered by accident, but mostly comes from needs detection. This is what needs detection is. There is a person who is like, what does society need? Okay, I'm going to research. And once I find it, that there is this blank space between what people need and what is available, I work and I produce it myself. And I sell it, of course. This is what we're going to do this week for our task. We're going to work on needs and wants detection. The first thing that you should know is that within the physical needs, every human has needs, because needs can be like a basic physical need that is critical to our survival, like we just mentioned, like food, I need drink, I need shelter, I need to sleep too. For those who want to go to bed at 3 a.m. playing video games, you need to sleep. That is a need, okay? But we also have psychological needs, because you have social and emotional needs. Like right now, you need human interaction. And that is a big problem because we are all locked up in our homes and we need to interact with others. So we have social needs, emotional needs, feeling like we belong to a certain group, feeling secure, feeling safe, feeling like I have love in my life from other people and that I love myself too, self-esteem. Those are needs. And these are like the two types of needs that we will consider for our assignment. And we also have consumers' wants. Wants, I mean, this specific type of want, consumers' wants, is like how people prefer their needs to be satisfied. What does this mean? That people usually want particular products or brands or services that will satisfy their needs in a very specific way. It's like when you go to the supermarket and you have 10 types of cookies, but you or your mom are like, no, I'm going to get this one because I've tasted them and they're the best. That is a want. Maybe you have the need for food, but your specific want regarding how you want that need to be satisfied is through that very specific brand or type of cookie. So, as another example, if you're thirsty and you want to drink something sweet, okay, you have juice, you have a soda, and you have 20 different flavors of soda, but you choose to have a Coke, Coca-Cola. So that is your specific want to satisfy that need. You see? Another example, if you live in a farm in the middle of nowhere and you need a new car, you're like, okay, which car would work best for me? And you're like, okay, a pickup truck, because I live in a place where I need it. And you have 20 different brands. And you're like, no, I would rather go with Ford. I don't care that Chevrolet has the best. I want to go with Ford because people in my family drive Ford, for example. So you can see here how consumers want is like how you prefer that need that you have for transportation, in this case, to be satisfied through a very particular car of a very particular brand. So what are we going to do? Well, the first thing, as as usual, which is the core of everything, is make sure everything is clear. I think the concepts are understandable. It's only want, needs, and their detection, okay? Just to be aware of our environment and be like, what need or what want I have here surrounding me. Then as classwork, no, just kidding. We have no classwork. A treat on me. What you do have, one is to remember, please, the Google form that is due today. And number 3, which is the real phase 3, is the homework that we're going to have from today. You're going to choose a team. Please, no people working alone in this one. That is going to be evaluated too. You're going to choose a team. You can choose only a pair. You can choose 2 other people or up to 4 people in one group. You can be from different sections. And you're going to create a mental map that includes at least 5 needs and 5 wants that you as a team detected. Then each need and want must also have a drawing or a picture. It's like, okay, food, like we had here in the previous slides. Physical needs, okay, I represent, if I'm going to explain food, I'm going to put an apple. If I'm going to talk about psychological needs and I'm talking about self-esteem, okay, I can write a heart, for example. That's what you're going to do. You're going to make a list of at least 5 needs and 5 wants, and you're going to exemplify it through a drawing or a picture. You can do it by hand, like in actual paper with colors and everything, or you can do it digitally. I know some of you use PowerPoint, others like Canva or Pictochart. Feel free to use whatever you want. What matters is that you hand it in as a PDF file, and that you label it, or that the name of the file is the one I'm requesting in the homework module. I will open the tab later today. Please, the due date, next Friday, June the 3rd. And this has been everything for today. Now I'm going to open the space for any question, doubt, concern that you may have, so that you can continue with your presentation of herramientas. Thank you, guys.